We have several questions prompted by your lectures on Drisha Viveka. The first one is from Manju. According to the Drisha Viveka, the mind is observed, and I, the witness consciousness, am the observer. Hence the mind is the object, and I am the subject. But without the mind, this knowledge of object and subject cannot take place. Does this mean that the mind is the subject and object at the same time? It contradicts the principle of observer and observed being separate as per Drisha Viveka.
Okay. Manju, you have put the question very well. It's a good question. If you think seriously about these things, this question has to come. You know what the question consists of? Drisha Viveka says the observer and the observed are separate. Clearly, it works very well when you say, the first verse of the Drisha Viveka says, the world of forms is the observed and the eyes are the observer and they are separate. That's different, this is different. Clear enough. The eyes are the observed. You know, your eyes are open, closed, you need glasses, all these things you know. Who knows? The mind knows. And the eyes and the mind are separate. You are the mind watching the eyes. Clear enough. Then third stage. The mind is also the observed. You know when you are happy. You know the misery. You know that you understand. You know that you do not understand. You know that you can remember. You know that you cannot remember. All of the activities of the mind are clearly evident to something within you. So that something is the witness of the mind, and the mind is something separate from the witness. You are the witness of the mind, and through the mind, the witness of the body, and through the mind and the body, witness of the world. Okay, this is what the first verse says. Now here, a discerning person will say, hold on. Eyes are separate from the object, clear enough. Okay. One step back. Eyes are separate from the mind. Eyes are a different entity. Mind is a different entity. Clear enough. Because the mind observes the eyes. But the thoughts of the mind are evident to me. Isn't it the mind itself observing the mind? Why are you saying that there is a witness apart from the mind? Right? That's the question. It's an important question. If you actually understand the question, you are halfway towards enlightenment. And if you get the answer to the question, you are enlightened. Listen to this carefully. The mind can observe the mind. Why? How? You see, what's the function of the mind? What's the function of the eyes? To see. What's the function of the ears? To hear. What's the function of the mind? To think. The eyes see. See what? Forms. The ears are used to hear. Hear what? Sounds. The mind is used to think. Think what? Think about anything. The mind can think about the world. It can think about you. It can think about this place. But the mind can also think about other thoughts. I am so unhappy. I am stewing in my own unhappiness. That unhappiness is where? In the mind. And when I reflect upon my unhappiness, mind is thinking about the unhappiness. The mind itself thinks about the unhappiness in the mind. So the one thought is thinking about another thought. Are you with me so far? This is called introspection. It's called introspection. And remember, it's a function, a capacity of the mind. It can think about the world outside. It can think about the mind itself. Mind can think about other parts of the mind. One thought thinking about one thought being about another. Thoughts are always about something. That something could be external, it could be internal also. When it is internal, the word you use is introspection. I'm introspecting. I'm looking into the contents of my mind. It is mind watching mind, clearly. It's one of the functions of the mind. But note that you are not always introspecting. Are you always looking into the contents of your mind? You understand the question? Sometimes you are absorbed in the world. When you are watching an absorbing game, when you are listening to an absorbing talk, you are not looking into the thoughts in your mind. You should be absorbed in the object. And somebody is performing, skilled surgeon is performing a difficult operation for hours together. The mind is completely absorbed in the action. He better not be introspecting. Yeah. What are my feelings like? Am I watching the breath? No. Keep your mind on the operation. Okay, now we are ready to answer the question. When you are not introspecting, that means when your mind is thinking about something outside, other than your mind, absorbed in something outside, this experience, did you experience it or not? You're not thinking about it, but did you experience it or not? Now there will be a sound. Did you hear it? Now when you think that I heard it, you're getting a memory and thinking about it. But when you heard it directly, it was a direct conscious experience, right? Were you thinking about it in your mind? No. You heard it directly as a conscious experience. Your mind recognized it as a sound of clapping. And then when you look inside, okay, I remember I just experienced the Swami clapping his hands. That's the mind thinking about another thought. In both these cases, there is experience. Something is experiencing these things. When the mind is looking and thinking about things in the world, it is experienced. By what? When the mind is thinking about another thought, both of these are experienced. By what? Do you see? That one is the witness. That one is not the mind thinking about the mind. Mind thinking about the mind is one capacity of the mind. It's called introspection. But the witness is what illumines when the mind is not thinking about the mind, a sudden experience of the clap of a sound, yes. Then when you think about that experience of hearing a clap, mind is thinking about the mind, that is also illumined by the same witness. What is that witness?